let's get straight to sports. Now, three things are trending in sports. I don't know which to start with. There's the issue of when they went to play in Cote d'Ivoire yesterday, rather than sing Nigeria We Hail Thee, they played Arizo Competrage and all of that. And there's also the people are calling now for whether to sack or retain Finidi George. There's also the issue of just the painful defeat of the Super Eagles for the first time by Benin Republic. That's why we're going to be joined on the program by our sports anchor and correspondent, Yemi Adebayo, joins us now as we begin to look at some of these things.
And Yemi's not smiling.
Yemi's not smiling.
now you're smiling.
Yemi, where do we start from? So, the defeats, Super Eagles should sack Finidi or retain him, or the fact that they bungled our national anthem. Maybe you pick one.
There's a lot to unpack. The national anthem is the least of our problems.
Yeah.
The fact now is that our chances of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup is hanging in a balance. We probably need to win all our 6 remaining matches, which by the evidence of the matches played already, it's difficult to do. You lost to Benin Republic, couldn't be South Africa at home. You are dragging your feet against Lesotho and all of those issues. So it's a lot to unpack, and people are angry, rightly so. There are 2 things to take from a football game: the result and the performance. 2 things. Sometimes if the performance doesn't go the way you expect, maybe the result, then you flip over with the performance. But there was nothing to take from yesterday. The performance wasn't good, the result wasn't in our favor, and people are angry. But again, my personal opinion has always been, not because we lost. A lot of people would think, yes, he has come here to say all of these things because we lost. It's a reflection of a bigger problem, and what's happening in our polity, in our societies, creeping into sports. And it's been like that for a while because people are not held accountable. You didn't qualify for the last World Cup. One would expect that because you didn't qualify for the last World Cup, you would take this next campaign, this qualifying series seriously. And now it's hanging in a balance. You can't dump all the blame on Finidi George. There are questions about managerial acumen. It has to be said, but all the fault is not on Finidi George. But we should tamper things down. Can we still qualify? Yes. On the evidence of how we are playing, we may not.
Well, Yemi, 6 matches is quite a lot, and I don't even want to think about the possibilities in there. But can we look at the match objectively? I know you have said that, there was nothing based on performance, but the first 25 minutes of the match was said to be good, and in fact, we scored first. So sometimes they say football, there's chance, is this an element of the Super Eagles not being lucky, particularly because it's the first time that Benin Republic is defeating us?
In 16 games. It has nothing to do with luck. Before we went to the Nations Cup, there was this lull in our football. We're struggling to beat teams. And when we got to the Nations Cup, the coach then, Jose Peseiro, found a way to lock things up. But the problems were there. We weren't creating chances, we weren't scoring, even though on paper we have, in Africa and even across the globe, we have the most lethal strike force. Players that countries would dream to have. But yet we can't score goals. So if you want to pick the problems, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. You would want to look at how the coach set up his team. One, you'll have to look at whether or not the players are committed. A lot of people raise the issue of what's going on with the national team, the chances of not qualifying, and you look at the time some of these players came to camp. This is coming to the fore. If we had won, maybe people would not start saying it, but they're also saying it. Issue of discipline, issue of whether these guys. You talk about. I listened to you. I saw how passionate you were about the business there, and we always go back to that 94 set. How passionate they were. How people, even with blood stains on their jerseys, will still keep on playing. I
remember said in 2000 or so,
crying.
He had malaria at the stadium in
against Morocco. Yes, he came from the hospital bed, and I don't think he was even built to play that day. And that was how patriotic some of those guys were. But another thing, there's a disconnect. You have players who maybe their grandfather is a Nigerian and somehow have not stayed in Nigeria. Don't understand what football means to some of us. And you lose a game, you're changing jerseys, handshakes and all that. That annoys the average fan. I come from the era where you lose a game, you can't eat. That's how I'm not the guy playing. I'm just the guy watching. You lose a game, you can, and you have players now. To them, it's just a game.
So going forward, what should we do? Because I don't know which was orientation. Finidi, unfortunately, I don't know. It came at a very difficult time. Back to back, we've met our enemies. South Africa wanted, we beat them in Cote d'Ivoire. We denied them a few things, and they came and they held us to a draw. Ghana has groused with us, and he got his pound of flesh yesterday. So we'll be meeting our enemies back to back. Now we're going forward. Everybody wants us out of that group. What do we do in 1 minute?
It's difficult to say. Everything in the Nigerian balance now is hope, because it's out of our hands, really. You have to be honest. The next time we're playing is in March, maybe March next year. Maybe that time we allow us to do something. I won't support sacking the coach. I would say assist him, then make the players understand what is really at stake. The NFF shouldn't bungle this. We're already in panic mode. Don't make it worse. Let the players understand the magnitude of what's going on. Maybe that will help. It's not all doom and gloom. There's still another route, but it means we have to win all our remaining matches. Can it be done? Yes. With the way they're playing, no. So we have to strike that balance of the players giving us the kind of performance that will give you the confidence that they can win the next 6 matches.
Adebayo, sports anchor and correspondent, thank you so much for your insight as always. But before we let you go, let's we want to show you something that happened. Yes. So that's it. I mean, we're still living in the past, as at yesterday. The national anthem. Ben, they didn't get the memo. Unfortunately, they had to play the old national anthem. Well, this is the one that gives us nostalgia. As I said, in terms of anthem, people like my generation were anthem orphans right now. People like the president, they have a return. That nostalgia is for them. Nigeria will hail the younger children of ours. Our children will be celebrating with hail the we have lost out in the game, but that's what happened yesterday. If you didn't watch the match, they mistakenly played Arise or Compatriots instead of Nigeria we hailed it.
And you know, sometimes when things get off to a wrong start, it has a way of trickling down and affecting
Bukola, you didn't have to go there.
Who knows? But let's hope that, you know, as Yemi has said, there's hope, and we hope that the hope will be renewed and not ruined in the next 6 matches. Yemi, we'd like to thank you.
Quick, your thoughts on the anthem.
Okay.
The NFF have complained about this. I don't know if it has anything to do with the game, and the sports minister has summoned the NFF, so we'll see if they get something out of all of that.
All right, guys, that's it on this segment. We'll get to the big issues for the day. It's a big issue, by the way. Let's not make a mistake. It's a big issue. But let's continue our talking point with the rest of the show, which will shape conversation for the rest of the day. Join us again.